Hello, I'm Minstrel and we are coming here with the second round of Polish Nationals being played between Rasz piloting Precision Design against Matuszczak piloting Hoshiko Shira. Today I'm here with Vesper.
Hello everybody, and as you can see we have two, I would say classics of the current meta for the Polish national championships. I think we've had quite a few players on both of these IDs, and in general the global Netrunner has seen them by far being very popular left, right and center. So this is going to be a classic for some. For some it might be like, oh no, not again, not Hoshiko, not PD. But what do you think is going to happen here? Because both players probably know what they're doing.
Exactly. As we can see, Rasz is taking a mulligan, not a perfect start, but we can also say that these are not exactly the usual decks out of these IDs right now. While Rasz is playing the usual suspects of Analytic Void and Managram Skunkworks, he's playing a much more interesting and streamlined version when it comes to finding his agendas, which we'll see later in the game, and Matuszczak is playing an older version of Hoshiko, which still runs a turbine and the Doom Rig of sorts, instead of the new wave of ice destruction stuff.
Yeah, so this is the thing, exactly. These are the two classics, and like you mentioned, the current wave of Hoshiko, which might be appearing soon on the World Championships, is basically based on ice destruction with the Arusera's crew and with the old school devil charm of sorts. But this is still the turbine powered, hey, we have a Shaper card that's really powerful, Doom Rig for the Anarchs that have been dominating the meta, I think, well, quite a lot. But anyway, we're already in the game and we have a Spin Doctor and 2 credits, and that's the first. You also had Greasing the Palm there. Sorry.
Yeah, that's where the 2 credits are coming from. We are probably installing a Rashida behind ice, but we'll see in a second what exactly is installed there. As far as mulligans go, that is probably the best start we could see out of PD. Some economy, some pressure behind ice presented immediately, and on the other side of the table you can see the staple of Anarch in Miss Bones coming out from Criminal to help trashing all those pesky upgrades and assets.
Yeah, this is quite funny because you have a criminal card being a staple in Anarch, but this is basically powering trashing cards in asset decks, and this is an asset deck. You'll probably see later on how much stuff is going to be happening in assets and upgrades. Of course, we have an MIC defending the remote here, so no bones, no luck.
No bones, and basically the entire turn out of Matuszczak going away, the install and run into losing 2 clicks to MIC, meaning that his 4 clicks were basically gone the second he encountered that MIC.
Yep.
The second install coming down with a trash, so we can expect that to have been an agenda that we were planning to score with a seamless launch, but with our credits going down to 1, we couldn't afford that, and with a Spin Doctor in play, it is safe to overinstall it with probably a Rashida. It could be even an overinstall with an upgrade if Rasz decided that the agenda is not safe there. We don't know if the Hoshiko player is on Boomerang or other ways to skip just 1 ice.
Yeah, this is the thing here right now, exactly. We do have some access on the centrals here, going for HQ just to see what's there. That's another Greasing the Palm. And the thing is, this is all about tempo. When you're playing PD here, you want to go fast. You don't really care if the runner has single accesses, unless there's some sort of a serious threat on the table. And here we have, is that a bank card? Looks like a bank card to me. So unless the runner is able to contest your remote, you're just going to be pushing things out, and you want to go fast because you're not going to wait. Oh, that's a Rashida then, 3 credits and 3 cards, and the mandatory draw, repairing the slightly damaged economy here after that res. And let's see what Rasz is going to get here.
Yeah, and we have the new version of Boomerang effectively threatening the single-iced server no matter what the ice pretty much is, with the exception of like Saisentan and Anansi, which can be a very painful face checks and propositions to break with Bankar. Any other ways of defending with ice would be in jeopardy, but with multiple upgrades we can offset that problem, because Analytic Void and Managram Skunkworks don't really care about Bankar. The trend on HQ last turn was also to flip Hoshiko, since she didn't get an access on turn 1 and we really want to get that card draw running.
Yeah, totally. And here the economy might be a bit, well, lower on the runner side. Here we see Matuszczak only on 3 credits, but really you don't need a lot of economy if you have Miss Bones on the table and a remote with 3 face down cards. I mean, this was quite a turn. You had the Rashida, you draw 3 cards, then the mandatory draw, and then you spend your whole turn just installing things in the remote, because the runner right now is basically not able to contest that meaningfully. So of course with Bankar, well, you have a kind of a way in, and here we go again. Exactly. Let's see what this time Matuszczak is going to be trashing for the Bankar interactions here. Full hand of cards.
Yeah, we run our Echelon out to probably keep it safe from this net damage, but
Action.
even that run is probably just here to force the rest of Managram Skunkworks and a Noetic Void. We're going to pay 2 clicks to force the Corp to go down to 3 credits, but that does mean that they will get to score the agenda as long as it's a 4-2 with a seamless launch in hand, and that still can be a Tranquility Home Grid or, God forbid, the Rashida.
Here we are then, like you mentioned, of course, Managarm and the Anoetic Void protecting the remote. Now it's up to Matuszczak to decide what's going to happen here. And yeah, I mean, this is quite a duo of defensive upgrades here. Again, a staple in PD, and not only in PD, but it's a very powerful combo here. The runner has to definitely invest a lot of resources, a lot of time to break through, and then you still don't know what's inside there. I mean, that's the thing. Could be another Rashida, for example. Who knows?
Yeah, and the altar that just went to the heap is Steelskin Scarring, so that Bankar run did net some benefits to the runner player, and we have decided to not pay for the Managarm, at least that's how it looks. Yeah. We decided to run Archives.
I think so, yeah, that looks like it, and we have the Spin Doctor being used, so 1 face down and 1 card coming back into the deck, into R&D, shuffle and cut, and here we go.
With Hoshiko flipping back, that probably wasn't the case, because for her to flip back, Matuszczak would have to access 0 cards that turn.
Yep. Yeah, and you're in the comfy situation when you have 0 credits. Oh, there we go, double seamless, and it's a score. Should be money, probably. Right there, there we go. I think it, I mean, the we have a glare there, but I think it's the off-world office.
It is an off-world office. The glare is a little unfortunate, but we are scoring, and because we're scored with 2 seamlesses, we will be able to jump something into the server this turn as well. We will see what will end up being, and here we have the innovation, let's say, out of Rasz's deck in digital rights management, a card that lets us search for a agenda we needed at the right time and plop it immediately in our server.
Yep, so there we go.
Yeah, accelerated deployment test coming into Rasz's hand, and something will be installed in that same click. We have no idea what. Technically they don't have to be the same card, but finding an agenda and then installing something else, I guess, could make some sense if it was a Rashida and we needed to force more tempo, but I think just playing an agenda when your opponent is on 0 credits and with an insignificant breaker in play.
Yep. Totally, you have the upper hand. You have 7 credits. You just took the seamless back. One of the 2 seamlesses used, so you are ready to just score it next turn, no problem whatsoever. So Matuszczak will have to find some solutions here, and here we go. Going for the price, I believe.
He is taking 3 credits and drawing 4 cards. Oh, that's a moshing. He's
that was a moshing. Sorry,
yeah. He's playing a moshing with discarding a Steelskin Scarring and drawing
that's the extra draw,
5 cards and getting 3 credits. yeah, the card at the very bottom is a moshing alternate art, and there was a steel skin scarring in the middle of the pile. Yeah, he couldn't play the prize being at 1 credit, and now we are running R&D to activate Hoshiko and get our money going. This will be a tough game. We are effectively starting from being 4 points behind with PD already having its server set up. But with Hoshiko we have ways to break that apart, and that server can prove fragile. Without Anoetic Void it can fall apart quite quickly, and the hit of this ADT is important. If it's something like, I think I see only a drafter from installables.
Yeah, we have Rasz here taking a long look at hard look at the cards in hand, but of course, yeah, there's only so much you can install. So here comes the drafter to defend R&D. The rest gets shuffled in, put on top. And yeah, this is the thing. You can, a lot of people would say, well, yeah, okay, obviously if you only have 1 card to install, you just go fast. No, you should always remember that there's a bit of mind play here as well, like the tricks. The trick is to pretend you have more options, and then your opponent will, maybe wonder as well, like what's going on there. Never, ever, ever be obvious.
This is quite an actually nice play pattern for Rasz's deck. He's returning a digital rights management instead of a seamless launch, because he sees that being on 4 points he can find the Ikawa in the first click of the next turn and advance it twice, effectively going for the install advance play with a 5-3, but the 5-3 coming from his deck, never really touching his hand.
Yep. Matuszczak really going on an uphill battle here. I mean, you have 3 credits. You do have some tools in your hand. There's also some economy. We see a twinning there as well. Unfortunately, R&D is a bit blocked right now by the ever-present drafter that's going to, well, make your life a bit harder or actually way easier for the corp. And you really don't want the drafter to fire on this board state. You don't want the corp to have more options to look for cards. So let's see what Matuszczak can actually do here. The Bankar... going back, now the decision is maybe we're going to be bankaring for the drafter, or maybe not. Yes, there we are.
Yeah, we are probably not contesting the upgrades launch just in the remote server, so we might as well try and see cards from the top of the R&D, especially with Rasz getting back the digital rights management. It probably means that there are no agendas in HQ. Otherwise, just getting back seamless and jamming again the next turn could have been the choice. He also has the echelon in play, so technically he can break drafter. It's just very expensive right now, costing 5 credits for that. Dubious.
We actually have a change in Bankar here. So this is the thing. I mean, this is one of the tempo plays as well, and you might be wondering, okay, why would you be going for the upgrades in the remote? And from what I learned, no, we're actually going back to R&D. But from what I learned, very often it's very important on the off turn, so to speak, where you actually have the corp without any cards in the scoring server. You just go there and then you destroy it as fast as possible to avoid having to deal with it later on when there will be a run that actually matters. But here we go. Okay. Is that another...
That's a labor rights.
Oh, that's a labor rights. Okay, yeah, here we go then.
And I think the reason for the choice on the remote server was actually a little bit different. Matuszczak has Raindrops Cut Stone in his hand, and he was considering running the ice with a bigger amount of remotes to just cycle through more cards in his hand by just getting more net damage on that run. But he decided that a single access of R&D is worth to him more than 1 more card getting that Raindrops could offer him.
Yep. Okay, here we go. We have some additional trashes there. There's the Earthrise alt art, there's the twinning.
And Strike Fund. This is another moshing. This one for 5 credits and 3 cards from the top of the deck. And we can see that there is quite a bit of all technology in this Hoshiko. This is still playing multiple copies of Earthrise Atolls, and I haven't seen that particular card in a while in the decks, but it still is one of the best ways to convert money into cards if you have the opportunity and the amount of money to do that. The newer versions of decks run on less credits, and so they forgo the inclusion of the pure card draw that Earthrise Hotel offers.
Yeah, at the end of the turn we have a sure gamble into an Earthrise, and then it's the corpse turn. Okay, we have some interesting NBN cards here. I mean, well, it's a classic, of course, either 3 cards or 3 credits, or if the runner is tagged, you get both. And then we have a hedge fund, so both sides now moneying up, but Rasz definitely here on the upper hand, because sitting on 4 points is definitely way more comfier. But on the other hand, you do have to respect that Hoshiko is slowly spinning up, so to speak, so that remote is getting another piece of ice to be protected a bit more.
I wonder if these choices are partially a way for PD to punish the Tag Me players if either of them would, if any deck like that would show up. Multiple planograms and the greasing the palms means that the deck that usually cannot interact with tags at all now has the ability to really get ahead if the runner ends the turn tagged.
Yeah, they're very good cards in general. I mean, they're decent cards on their own, even without the tag, but with the tag they get very spicy, or they get quite useful. So totally very nice meta call here by Rasz, just saying, okay, if anybody's going to be playing Tag Me, or if there's just a tag landing for some reason on the runner, yeah, I'm happy to profit from that.
We'll get back to the runner's turn. We are starting the turn with drawing at least a Steelskin Scarring, and now this is an interesting choice. There seems to be no agendas in hand for Rasz, because he's still not jamming anything into that remote, but the remote grows. And so Hoshiko can pretty much just freely spin up to the board state that will be quite threatening once the corporation actually tries to start scoring. And now the Basso coming down, the might not being the defense it was once offering.
Yeah, so the corp, even on the four agenda points here, you're definitely ahead and you're definitely setting the tempo of the game, but you do have to be careful, because Hoshiko, once everything is on the table, and once you can get a bit more aggressive, then nothing is going to be safe, especially in PD, which is not really a Glacier deck. It's a nice combination of, well, elegance and tempo and speed. So let's see if Rasz can pull it off here. 4 points. Oh, there we go. That's a jam. So now we're getting into the nice part of the game, which is, well, do you contest? You probably have to contest. You have to respect your opponent here.
Yeah, and for those that are wondering why Rasz wasn't using the digital rights management to find agendas and jam them sooner, the digital rights management has a clause at the beginning that the runner had to not make a successful run at the start of their turn on HQ, which is why Matuszczak was running on HQ, even though he could bunker through Drafter if that was his choice.
Yeah, so we have a double install on the remote, and now Matuszczak with 13 credits, quite a good setup. You can definitely contest that remote. Looking at the cards in his hand, just to make sure that there's a plan there. But that remote could potentially be, well, more points for Rasz, maybe a win. There we go, the turbine hitting the table. Now we're in the game.
Yeah, now so Basso pretty much breaks that mic for for 2 credits. For a single credit, if it's run on the last click, we don't exactly want to run on the last click against me, but that's something that could happen here. And with Raindrops Catstone, I think we'll start hammering that remote, seeing if we can put some pressure on the corporation. Yeah.
You definitely have to check what's going on there, because otherwise you might be just losing the game, and there we go. That's a res. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that's a brand, but that brand is the outermost piece of ice right now, which means that it simply costs 3 cards from the hand of Matuszczak, and with between Raindrops Catstone and Strikefund going to the heap and Steelskin Scarring, this effectively ends up being an ice that drew him 5 cards and gained him 2 credits.
Yeah, and I think the Ashen was also hitting the heap for a second time right now. It's like, whenever I see Ashen, it's a one-off, of course, and I'm like, come on, you lost it again, but you have labor, right? So you can recover that, of course. But it almost always hurts to see a useful card hit the bin as the runner, or as the corp, of course. So we're continuing the run, a bit of math here, we keep going. There's the double 2 cards and 2 credits from HQ, so we're stopping the run here with Anoetic. So if you want to go there, you have to go again.
And we're drawing our 3 cards from breaking in quotes, the brand with Bankar while in the range of Scatstone run. So we have a choice of what to do with the last click. We could try rerunning there, but Meek will stop that run always, so the game ends here, but that would require 2 Seamlesses in hand for Rasz and Ikawa in that server, and we know that it is impossible at this point. I believe there are 2 Seamless launches in the Rash's archive, which means that there is no threat of ending the game. And I think he just drew ADT.
Yeah, so here's the thing. You're very low on credits on the corp side. You could be trying to squeeze things through here, but you probably need just a bit of extra money here. And honestly, you don't have to worry that much. You are 4 points ahead. Money will be definitely more important to you to close the game out. So as much as you might feel the pressure of the runner actually, spinning up the whole turbine engine here and whatnot, and being ready to break anything for very cheap and having a credit advantage, you might be okay with forfeiting, or not forfeiting, sorry, but just giving up an agenda or losing an agenda or 2 because you're setting up for the end game and you're trying to win on points here with, well, you need credits. That's basically it. So your economy has to be a bit better. We have a single advance. Okay.
Yeah, so that looks like that ADT, and I think that install first on to activate Tranquility Home Grid before drawing a card might have punished Rasz. I think he drew Rashida immediately after, and I think that the Rashida would be the preferred install, even if it would leave the agenda in hand with only 3 other cards, so an exploratory poke at HQ could steal it, but getting back into the game with Rashida Fire, or back into the economy, I should say, could have been something that he was interested, but obviously became impossible once he installed agenda on the first click.
Yeah, this is the thing right now, because you have the HQ here wide open, but of course you're counting on the runner to just, well, overthink it or focus, for example, have this tunnel vision. And I don't mean the AI breaker, but still to have this tunnel vision and just go for that remote, because that remote is a winning remote right now. Well, not winning, but like a scoring remote that's definitely very hard to get into. So you have to demolish it sooner or later. You have to contest it. So in such situations, sometimes people forget that, yeah, you have other servers open and you have that single drafter defending R&D. You can try and set up some sort of a digging operation there. You had twinning there at some point and whatnot. But of course, Matuszczak here counting the probabilities, thinking about different plays here, trying to figure out how to stop this merciless advance from Rasz, and yeah, definitely the money's there, 14 credits, but where are the agendas? That's what you need.
You are playing Moshing with Steelskin, so it's another 5 cards and 3 credits, but this advanced card is threatening a win right now. Single Seamless and 2 advancements would be the 4 required to score Nikawa, and the 3 credits in Rasz credit pool right now would be enough to achieve that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Matuszczak tried contesting that server right now, even just to force his opponent to activate Analytic Void, going down to 1 credit and forcing him to into such a low credit total that he couldn't finish the game.
Yep.
But he takes the risk with only 1 card in Rash's hand. It's really hard for that last card that he doesn't know to be a seamless launch. He knew the digital rights management was already in his hand. He drew one card for the turn. If it was the last seamless, so be it.
Yeah, precisely. We have the corp here on 3 credits only, but we have a triple advance, and that's a score, and that's an ADT, so we're going down to no credits, but at least we get to look at cards. And of course there's the Tranquility Home Grid, so there will be something out of that if you install. But yeah, let's see, there's Bran, a couple of other things.
Bran and Virus.
Okay, we're going for a Bran, double Bran. Oof, that's rough.
I believe his choices were Bran, Mavirus, Spin Doctor, Gatekeeper, and 1 more card I couldn't quite see. That second Bran really makes that remote hard to contest with with the Fracture of Choice on the Hoshiko side being a cleaver, which, while still efficient at breaking it for 4 credits, it becomes quite a tax when it has to happen like twice a turn.
Yep, and I think Rasz recovered a Seamless from Archives.
Exactly. With another ADT in hand, he can install the ADT and gain 2 credits from the Tranquility Home Grid before getting 2 credits from just basic action. And then he still is sadly out of range of Seamless, Advance, and activating Analytic Void, but he's getting closer to that 5 credits he would need for that to be safe.
Yep.
On the other side, I saw Matuszczak drawing a Maw, so that Seamless might not be exactly a safe way to score the ADT either. It is sometimes a problem where you hope that your Seamless will allow you to never advance that last agenda, and the Anarch simply runs your hand and or just runs R&D and finds an untrashable, unstealable card and pops that Seamless right out of your hand.
Yeah, we have Matuszczak here reviewing the heap because you definitely need to know what else is left in the deck. Not many cards left in the deck there for the runner side, but yeah, if you know your deck by heart, and you should, you probably are calculating the probabilities, but of getting the nice tool, the best tool you need for the job right now. And here we go with, okay, Raindrops Cut Stone.
And that's a Maw. That beautiful box that just came out on Matuszczak's sides of the table. We hit the DRM and we are missing our Maw trigger. I think they are resolving it right now. Yeah,
they're gonna resolve it right now. Yeah, and there's gonna be the roll because you have to randomize. Yeah, we specify which card is which. You always roll a 6 if there's fewer than 5 cards, but it's the 3rd card getting trashed, so we know that. Yeah, the card that was accessed stays, and then an unknown card is trashed from hand, and then we're resolving the teardrops. Did I say teardrops? Raindrops. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's also a bit of the teardrops could be falling on Matuszczak's side because it's looking for agendas and you're not getting them. And at least you're trying to disrupt the corpse plan by using Maw here. But it is an uphill battle for sure with double Bran and a remote from hell, because that remote is, I mean, I don't know, you just have to light the fire, I guess, and I don't know, get in there.
Yeah, Light the Fire would be actually very effective in this matchup. I don't know I have seen a single border control on the side of Rash's table, which means that Light the Fire would actually be a better answer to the remote than Pinhole Threading, which usually is the answer of choice, and that Maw did knock out the ADT out of Rash's hands, and that was his only agenda, with DRM being turned off now permanently with Hoshiko running HQ every single turn. He might simply struggle to just find another thing to jam into that server.
Yep. So Matuszczak recovering slightly here and getting up to 2 points, but yeah, I mean, you do have the money. The corp is on 0 credits, which is good. So the board state is in your favor. The score not so much, and like you mentioned earlier, Rasz just has to get a couple of cards, and that Tranquility can mean the world for the corp, because you just install there. We have a Rashida that could be a great target just to install and bait a run, and I think that's the Rashida heading the table. That's 2 credits for the corp just for the install. Talk about efficiency.
Yeah, that Rashida not only can help him get back into the economy, it also can help break the potential R&D lock while setting up. There is a red exclamation mark on my screen right now, which means that there probably was some problem with credits on the side of Matuszczak, but maybe like Hoshiko ability was missed the payment for it, but it shouldn't be a significant problem. I have to say the Maw interaction while running an HQ was one of the most misunderstood and like unhinged for me. That I have to roll a die while knowing one of the cards from the opponent's hand to determine which one I'm discarding. But yeah, it's one of the quirks of the rules engine of this game, and it's something the more I play Netrunner, the more I find all these cute interactions and ways the game resolves itself more and more interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's one of the trickier triggers to figure out when you read the card, like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, wait a minute, so I have to randomize, and yeah, it kind of takes away your agency, because usually it's the runners choosing randomly still, of course, but you kind of feel like you have the power to do this, whereas more just forces you to, well, just say, no, you're gonna randomly trash a card, that's it, and it really has to be random, there's no way around it. So yeah, but it's a very powerful effect. It's very disruptive as well, and it's a good counter for some of the fast advance decks. And here we have a slightly fast advanced deck on the corp side. So some hits could be good, some hits can give you points. Definitely, it's good to just say, yeah, you can't feel safe if you don't protect your HQ. And Rasz has counteracted it with a single piece of ice. A lot of heap reviewing here on both, like from both sides. It's like, let's see what's going on there. But yeah, we're getting back labor rights to get the Ashen epilogue and 2 sure gambles.
Yeah, and the best part of casting the labor rights with the empty stack, which is just shuffling a 3 cards pile and presenting your opponent to cut it, knowing entirely well that you're just drawing it the next turn, probably.
Yeah, that was a good cut though. The Ashen actually didn't get drawn. We have a sure gamble with 14 credits. You probably don't need more money. But then again, what else are you gonna do?
Oh, to be honest, you might need, if you are supposed to run that remote twice, it will cost you around 16 credits plus the Manegarn payment. So at least if you do it in the same turn, on top of losing 3 cards to Bankar to go through that first brand. The Cleaver Turbine is a very good engine, but we thought that one more piece of synergy that will push the Cleaver 1 strength higher, or bring the brands 1 strength lower, the price is still quite a bit, especially if they are stacked on top of one another. Though I'm pretty sure I have seen the Spike card in Matuszczak's hand.
Yeah, there was an Ice Carver, I think. There was an Ice Carver earlier on, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we could see it earlier on. But yeah, well, that's the thing. You have to decide. You only can do so many things. So whenever people are building decks, you probably prepare for several different scenarios, and you do have a game plan in your head. But then in the game, you have to make tough choices. This is another part that's really beautiful about Netrunner. It's like, yeah, I have a deck. It works. It's very good. But you're in the game. Your opponent is doing things. You have to compromise sometimes, and you just have to say, okay, well, right now, I have to adapt, and well, you have to toss some pieces of your combos at times.
Yeah, and finally, we are playing that digital rights management with the last turn being the first one in several where the HQ wasn't under the assault from the runner side, and I believe we found Luminol simply because it's the cheapest agenda to score.
Not many cards left in R&D, I think.
It looks about 15 to 20, I don't think.
Ah, okay.
That should be the problem in this game. But, well, now is the question, will this remote be assailable? Because on 5 credits going now to 7, I'm pretty sure that the corporation will always be able to score that Luminol.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can with a full hand of cards with enough money, although we do have an install, so I think it's only going to be 4 cards in the corp hand by the end. But anyway, you are able to fire the Anoetic twice, so that technically makes it, well, 3 runs you need as the runner to get in. So that will be, like you already mentioned, this is a pricey server with the 2 brands. Yeah.
This will be 4 runs because the installed card was a Spin Doctor, which can draw 2 cards for Rasz whenever he desires to. Though he cannot activate Analytic Void 3 times in a turn, he would fall down to 2 credits, and that would make it impossible for the Luminol to be scored unless the Seamless was left in his hand after, which we know that he has one. So
yeah. Bankar going on that remote, and this is going to be probably the big turn. 23 credits on the runner side. a lot of tools, a lot of everything. Let's see what's gonna happen.
That's a pinhole threading that is blowing up that analytic void to make those runs, well, stick really. So we might see the steal and the stabilization out of the runner in this turn. And if that Luminal falls, it will be really hard for Rasz to actually close out this game.
Yep. Here we go. So click 2, I think, yeah, click 2. The corp player here, Rasz, nicely counting the clicks for the runner and also for his own benefit as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if you spotted it, but this is the run with Bankar before the Ashen got played.
Yep.
And happily it's not lost out of this
super risky. Yeah, super risky.
Sometimes you just have to try and stop your opponent from winning the game, and if it costs you the late game, so be it. If there is no late game, that Ashen will do nothing either way.
Yeah.
So we paid for breaking both Bran and Mike, and now the trap is getting sprung. There was the second analytic void in that server.
Surprise!
That probably spells the end for the runner. The server is still very expensive to run, and unless there is a second pinhole in hand, it will be very, very hard to get into that server. And even with pinhole, it would be pay 5 now, pay for pinhole, that's 7, and then pay 8, 10 to go through ice, and 5, so it would be at 27 credits more to get into that server.
Yeah.
Which we regretfully are not able to get to that point, so this game is probably over for Corporation. We could try running HQ or R&D and stealing another agenda there, but with only 2 clicks we cannot steal Ikawa and another agenda, which would be required to close out the game before giving the turn back to Corporation.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. This is so it's not a glacier deck at all. It doesn't focus on building unassailable servers, but it's glaciery enough, and you kind of have this nice line dividing the ice protecting the server and the root of the server, where you have also 3 cards defending it or powering it, so to speak. And that's the thing. It's kind of a very balanced glacier where you have as much ice above the line of the water as much you have rocky things below or icy frozen things below the line of the water for the runner to explore once you get there. So that Anoetic, the second Anoetic, was very cheeky. I mean, it was an obvious play there, but it was very nice. Oh, is this an agenda? No, wait.
No, that was a seamless that we were trying to steal. And I think this will be the end of the game with Luminal.
Yep.
I think the Matuszczak was hoping that there was a 4-2 installed over the Luminal that was found, and if he knocks the Seamless out of Rash's hand with Mo Trigger, there might be a shot at another turn. But regretfully for him, and congratulations to the winner of the first game, it was the right play of installing a 3-2.
Yeah, and here we have the reverse now. We have 419 played by Rasz, so a traditional classic criminal ID that taxes the corp unless you want to show your secrets. And then on the corp side, is that a PE alt art? I believe it is PE, right?
No, this is an AgInfusion list.
Matuszczak there we go.
Is an AgInfusion fan. He's playing that deck for the, I want to say, last year and a half at this point or so, if not longer.
Okay. So there might be some boops. Let's see. Boops with a P, by the way. I'm sorry if anybody misheard that. Well, yeah, it's the booping power of AgInfusion is quite nasty when, of course, you think about all the potentially nasty sentry ice that you can encounter. But this is a good thing about 419. You will make it a bit harder for the corp to install things if they don't want you to see what you're installing. So we have double install.
So this looks like a 2-turn click, but 2-click turn, but this was really 2 installs and taking a credit that we paid for 419 trigger.
There we go. That's a shortcut. Very well spotted.
And I believe both R&D and HQ are protected by Saisentan right now, which is the spikiest ice in the game. I believe that on turn 1 it can be even worse than Anansi, threatening to flatline.
Jailbreaking into... Oh, there we go, that's a Saisentan, yeah. So that's all corpse money.
But this can spell out even a flatline, the Saisentan being able to threaten 6 points of net damage if the stars align for the corporation player.
Yeah. So we have a choice here. It's an event.
It's an event, so another hit from that first subroutine.
Oh yeah, there we go. Another event.
That's the second. Now the second net damage, and it is an event. This goes
that's
to...
it. That was one of the fastest games ever, but this happens.
Yeah, that's why people play Saisentan, and that's why people have to play around Saisentan, unless you have 6 cards in hand. That ice can just flatline you. And that's enough of a reason to be scared of Jinteki even when they are on 5 and not the usual 8 credits.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great display of how badly the game can turn out for you if you don't calculate certain probabilities here. So remember, folks, whenever you're playing against somebody who could be on Saisentan, be safe. Stay safe.
Yeah, so this was the second round of Polish Nationals. Thank you for joining me here today, Vesper. Do you want to say something at the end?
I just want to say that this was a great event, by the way, for all those who have missed it, because, for example, you were there for the Italian Nats. Well, sorry for you, but also really huge thanks for the organizer, Zombiak, who did an amazing job, and we had a great time at the event in Katowice and Spodek. Hopefully next year, when we have the new format for big events, for the regional and sort of national events, the megacity events, hopefully we're gonna come back to Katowice. I would love to, by the way, but yeah, we'll see. Of course, time will tell. And looking forward to the third round as well.
Thank you everyone for joining us here tonight, and see you the next time.
See ya.